Welcome back to Newsmaker Live, and thank you for staying tuned. We want to thank you for calling as well. Mr. Commissioner, you have a call on line as we're coming back from the break, so we'll just take that call. Good evening, please go ahead, and thank you for holding.
Yes, good night. Yeah, the automation of your fingerprint, of the police fingerprinting system, augurs well for the application of science and technology into policing. On the aspect of solving of crimes, if the police could do more work with cell phones and in conjunction with the cell phone networks, they'll actually be able to solve many crimes, especially where cell phones have been involved in the commission of crimes.
Well, that is in place at the moment. We are doing tremendous work with cell phones, also in terms of using other means of physical evidence. I think we have a functioning forensic lab at the moment, and I think that is working well for us, really. So.
How well is that forensic lab working?
Well, I mean, obviously it's a new institution, and they are going through the accreditation process, but I think they have been of tremendous help to us, and I'm sure as they develop, they will continue to be helpful to the causes of law enforcement.
Oh, wonderful. Good evening, caller. Please go ahead. Thanks for holding.
Hi, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Sorry?
Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay, first of all, I want to congratulate Mr. Francois. Mr. Francois, I don't know you personally, but watching you on television, hearing you, listening to you, I have been waiting so long to hear you promoted to commissioner, and thank God that it has happened. I want to say to you, don't ever think you can do it on your own. Let God be your guide. I want to say to you, do not let anybody change you. Be Vernon Francois, and I'm sure God is going to take you through, and you're going to He's going to take you a long way. God bless you.
Yes, thanks a lot, ma'am.
You're getting blessings from the public as well. You know, very soon from now, I guess you'll be getting some prayers as well, and we know those go a very long way.
Yes, yes. The prayers have actually been coming, and I'm very thankful for it, really. I think obviously people, you meet them every day, and they keep saying that they're praying for you, and they have you in the prayers, and I think that is important. We are a Christian society, and I think prayers have its place in our society.
Very well, very well. I mean, I asked you that question about the forensic lab. I mean, are we able to do more now? In terms of up to what level can we go? Ballistics, do we still need to send them to Barbados or to the UK? Well, I know DNA, that's far off for now.
Well, DNA is not far off, really. We're actually doing DNA at the moment.
Oh, really?
We have actually, we up to last year, we used to go to the Forensic Science Service Lab in the United Kingdom, but that we have shut down our relationship with that lab. So our DNA is actually done locally at the moment, and they have a few matters, I think, in the court system from the work that was done at the local forensic lab. So I think it is, and I mean, even just last week we had an officer coming in from St. Vincent to do some work, in the lab. So I think it's something that is really positive for us. Like I said, they are working towards accreditation, so and it is a new lab, and as they get new equipment and new staff, I'm sure it will be of great benefit to us on St. Lucia.
Now, in terms of the turnaround time, expediting the process, I know you'd have to wait a long time. You have to wait in line pretty much for a report from the UK as far as DNA or ballistics or whatever. How quickly can you get those reports now?
Well, the time would have been cut down, and even the costs associated with going over to England will have been cut drastically, and I think that helps us, in terms of reducing on the turnaround time you indicated, and also in terms of costs, it has been of great benefit.
Great. We have our final call on the line. Good evening, caller. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm very happy that the commissioner is on here this evening, because I think there is a dying need for professional policing. Police officers need a lot of training, and I think the general public will and can recognize that. A question for you. I have a concern and a question as well. The question first, is there any place or is there any provision made for the officers to take photos of a crime scene if they go to a particular area, if it has to be used as evidence or whatnot?
Well, we have a functioning crime scene unit really where the dedicated function is the processing of crime scenes, including taking of photographs and for the purposes of court. So, I mean, in the past, the photographing of crime scene and the processing of crime scenes generally was done by yeah, our investigators, but that has been removed as a dedicated function. The officers are trained in the processing of crime scene, and that is their specific function at this point in time. So when there is a crime, what they do is to go on the scene and they do the processing of the scene.
But wouldn't they have to go with cameras or something of that sort? For instance, if you would need particular documents for a case or to issue a charge as proof, wouldn't they have to be on there, go to the place or wherever with cameras? Is there cameras provided for them, or is that been put in place, or is it something that's going to be done?
Well, processing of the crime scene involves use of photographs, because obviously they will have to photograph the crime scene, and that is being done as we speak. I mean, when the scenes of crime officers go on the scene, they will work with all of the equipment, including cameras, and that is being done as we speak.
Well, strange that you're telling me that. I am aware of a particular situation where that was not done, and the person just came, and I mean, the family had to take off their own photos and so on. That was not done by the officers.
Imagine there are two things. First of all, on a report of a crime, that the investigators will go on the scene, and that will be the first set of people to go on the scene, and then they will make a determination to bring in the crime scene officer. So it's not every case, as soon as the crime has happened, that both the crime scene officer and the normal investigator will go on the scene. So it's possible that the presence on the scene that you're referring to, and I'm speculating really, might just be the general investigators as opposed to the crime scene officers.
So if you as an individual just take off your own photos, does it still count?
Well, there'll have to be some standards that have to be met, and I'm not sure taking your own photos for the purpose of a criminal case will meet those standards, really.
All right, well, thank
okay,
you, caller.
I know we have to go. Let me just I'll listen off air. Why is it necessary for if an officer has to question somebody, and maybe they see you on the wayside, or you on your own business probably heading to work, and they want to question you for a particular situation, that they ask you to come into the police station to do so? Why isn't it proper policing to go to the person, make some time to visit the person's residence and sit and take a statement? Why you have to, as an individual, make time to go to the police station to do that?
I guess it depends on the nature of the situation, and I cannot really speak on any. I can make a general statement about it. It's really about the nature of the situation that is being dealt with.
I think we have our very last caller for the evening. Good evening, caller. Please go ahead.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Please go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening. I want to first congratulate this gentleman there, Mr. Francois. I wish you the best. Mr. Vernon Francois, I wish you the best. I think that you're one of the best commissioners St. Lucia's ever had.
It's 10 o'clock.
We must admit that for sure. The second thing is that
15 seconds. 15 seconds, caller. Please go ahead quickly.
Yes. Do they have a ticketing department in his department or in the police force, specialized in giving only tickets?
Well, that is the largely the role of the traffic department in terms of issuance of ticket. Also, it is done at the police stations, but I don't know if it's a ticketing department, but it's one of the functions of the traffic department.
I guess we'll have to leave it at that for now, Mr. Commissioner. And of course, you know, we will invite you again in the future. Hopefully, you'll take up our invitation to be back with us here on Newsmaker Live. We really appreciated you joining us for this program, and we want to add our voice in congratulating you on your appointment as Commissioner of Police once again. So thank you very much for joining us, and we want to thank you for being part of Newsmaker Live this evening. Those of you who called, we really appreciate you participating in our discussion. Those of you who just listened, of course, this program would not be what it is without you. Join us again next week for another program. Tomorrow and Friday is budget debates. So next week we'll have discussions on the budget. So stay tuned for that. Before next week, Wednesday, we'll be back on Sunday for Press Club with me and some friends. So until then, I'm Clinton Reynolds. Do have a wonderful evening.